So Dave, this next topic is something that we really talk to clients about and we see a lot out there, which is the difference between an ISO versus an NSO. Talk a little bit about what each one of those is and how they differ.
Drew, yeah, that's great. Let me go ahead and unpack this a little bit by comparing and contrasting the difference between an ISO and an NSO, or what many people refer to as a non-qualified stock option versus an incentive stock option or ISO. Let's talk first about eligibility as far as who can receive what. ISOs are generally restricted to just the employees only versus a non-qualified stock option that can be given to not only an employee, but consultants, directors, board members, etc. The next distinction between ISOs and NSOs is the tax treatment. I'm going to get into a further explanation around tax strategies and the difference, but basically the tax at the exercise of the ISO, there is no ordinary income tax on that, but alternative minimum tax or AMT will likely apply versus a non-qualified stock option or NSO, where ordinary income tax is due on the spread between the grant price and the fair market value at exercise. Next is the tax on the sale of the option. So on an ISO, an instead of stock option is taxed at long-term capital gains if it's met the holding period, which I'll unpack in a further video, versus NSOs, which have capital gains tax treatment and can be either short or long-term. As mentioned earlier, the difference between incentive stock options and non-qualified stock options is also around AMT. Alternative minimum tax does apply on the liability, as mentioned before, between the grant price as well as the exercise price. But for a non-qualified stock option or NSO, that has no AMT impact. When it comes to a company deduction, this may not have so much relevance for you watching this, but also the company tax deduction does not apply with an incentive stock option unless there's a qualifying disposition, versus an NSO where the company is able to take a deduction equal to the amount of ordinary income that's taxed to the employee. Lastly is transferability. When it comes to incentive stock options and the transferability of them, they're generally not transferable to anybody. There are one or two exceptions, like if your spouse passes away, et cetera, but generally they're not able to be transferred to anybody, versus a non-qualified stock option or NSO, which can be transferred to pretty much anybody. In fact, this is one of the common ways that we advise clients to do charitable giving. So those are the main differences between ISOs and NSOs. But if this topic is of interest to you and you want to get some further information around your specific plan, hop on our website at Instrumental Wealth, schedule time with one of our advisors, message us through social media. We'd love to have a deeper conversation with you around this topic.